Take two.
What Blake
The
wasn't up
flood of
there, didn't he?
1940.
The flood of 1940 on Kenny Falls. Well,
What month was it?
Once upon a time.
August the 30th.
Oh.
August
Yes,
30th,
birthday.
1940. It had rained 2 or 3 days, and my daddy was driving a school bus then, and over at the old house, he had gotten in that school bus and drove it up Mull Creek, turned it around, and Pa and Grandma and Don and Peggy stayed with him that night, and they stayed in that school bus that night. But we stayed in our house till about 11 o'clock until we knew we had to leave. So we got...
That had to be. That is scary though.
But it was terrible. And we went to,
Especially the boulders.
right there where Ned's
Yeah.
house is, there was an outhouse, a toilet. It was up on the bank a little bit.
You mean where his garage used to?
No,
No, that's where.
that's where the house was,
Yeah,
where the garage was. But in that toilet, me and Betty, Daddy and Mother, and one or two others, I don't know who it
Was it a 2-seater?
Yeah. But we stayed in that toilet that
Yeah,
night.
Lois Jean, she was a baby.
Yeah. We would see trees, when it would lighten, we would see trees going down that creek standing straight up.
2 people.
I got you.
And the next morning, the house had just broken into right in the middle. Part of it was hanging over the creek bank, and the rest of it there. We never did stay in that anymore. And we had our lunch. We fixed our lunch up there in an old wash pot in that spring going up to the Cove House on the left there. We had boiled sweet potatoes and boiled corn. That was our lunch.
But wasn't there a barn up there where
Then
our
we,
house
well, you
was?
see, we had living up there in the barn for 2 nights. Where the old barn was sitting right where that house is now. So we had we slept in that barn off for 2 nights before we could get back across the creek.
Mm-hmm.
You actually couldn't see Pa's and Grandma's house from across the creek, from over there where we
Because
were.
of the woods or what?
But the debris was piled
Oh,
so
yeah.
high, rocks and logs.
So what'd y'all do after that?
Well, finally, you know, you've got, see, school had just begun, and we went to school for 2 or 3 months until they got the roads opened up enough for vehicles to travel again. We went to school down there in the church for, well, 2 or 3 months.
Where'd you
So
live?
where'd you live?
Oh, we stayed with Pa and Grandma.
Oh,
See, their house was not damaged.
That's, that's the house where the Brooms live now.
Yeah, why was it not that? It looks like that would be
the
a
house
low.
next to the
I
one in
swear
the
there's more water comes out of Rough Butt than ever have come out of Mall Creek. For
But
some
just
reason.
either way, it's just not like it's that awful high. A flood like that looks like it would have gotten that.
It does, doesn't it?
Well, you see, it washed up to 8 or 10 feet of that house out because that's refilled. All on the left-hand side of that house is refilled.
Yeah, but still looks like it would have gotten higher. It would have gotten
Well,
that. It looks like it would have gotten that high.
That's a pretty deep bank though.
Mull Creek was not quite, the watershed was not quite as much
See,
as Mull
that's what
Creek,
I'm
but it
talking
was
about.
up there. It washed away their old mill. We had that mill down there.
There's always
gone.
more water comes out of Rough Butt, isn't
Yeah, because that's a bigger
there? Yeah.
watershed. Because that takes care of Rough Butt and Piney Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we'd always get scared when it would be rain, get up so high.
Yeah, your mother and I went one night, got in the van and went up to
Up to the field.
up there. That's when I ran over that rattlesnake up there, right at where you turn up to Eddie's. That right big old rattlesnake lying there in the middle of the road. And I ran over it to where I got the wheel over its head, and I got out of that van and got that snake's tail, that rattlesnake's tail, got him out of there and cut it off.
And me yelling and screaming,
Yeah, I was
get
trying
back
to-
in here, you're gonna get sick.
Well, I had
Get
that,
back in here, you're gonna
that,
get sick.
that van was on its head.